When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, never play with, oh yeah, always be a good boy and never play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Oh well, when I hear that train a-comin', I hang my head and cry. Johnny Cash, hello. My name is Joko, not Johnny Cash, but this essay that we're going to be reviewing from the IELTS Tips and Tricks page is by Johnny Cash. Don't believe me? Well, I'll show you. Right. Johnny Cash. 8 hours ago. That's far too new to be reviewed. Now you have to wait a week like everybody else. I don't know, sometimes things just catch your eye. And let's talk about Mr. Cash's essay from Pattaya in Thailand. And anyway, let's get right to it. To the title. Be systematic in your analysis of the question. I don't know if in your language the word systematic is whatever it translates to. Here in Myanmar, don't remember the word. I did know it at some point, but it's used quite commonly. And so the word systematically, creep into their version of English quite a bit. Okay, so what does it mean? It means following a procedure, okay, using a system to do what you need to do efficiently. Okay? Essays are not like works of art. And that's the topic of today's question. And artists, you don't have the freedom to do whatever you want. You need to follow some conventions, some standards, if you want to get a high mark. So, what do we have today? Okay, so here is the essay as a whole. We won't be looking at it like that. That's just for placeholding. Now, one of the first things I'll do is take the piece and put it into wordcounter.net, which you see part of it here. And I'm looking for some things like word count 261, that's fine. 169 out of 261 words are unique. That means you're not repeating yourself very much, which is good. Longest sentence is 41 words. Shortest sentence 14. 27 is the average sentence. That's okay. It would take 22 minutes to write this by hand. That's good length. Should is the number one word used. It's used 4 times amongst non-grammar words, right? This is a red flag because I don't think you should be using should. You shouldn't be using should. Should essays tend to have a lot of opinions that are unsupported. We should do this. We should do that. Well, avoid should, because you end up with judgmental pieces that are just statements of what you think the way the world should be. And when I see it 4 times, I'm concerned from the start. Art some people, that's fine. Okay. Let's get to it. To develop their creativity. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, when you get a question like this, the first thing you need to figure out is, what is it that I'm being asked to agree or disagree with? What part of the statement, what words are the thesis? Okay. Now here we have 2 sentences. Artists need a certain amount of freedom to develop their creativity. This is presented as not as a some people think. It's just a statement. Now, is this the part I'm asked to agree with? Then there's another seemingly unconnected statement. Some people think that artists should have total freedom to express any thoughts and ideas. So the dichotomy, the contrast is a certain amount of freedom, not total freedom, versus total freedom. Okay, So what kind of question is this? Is it a opinion question or a discuss both views question? It's a bad question. It's a poorly written question. What someone took a standard question, which, from the Cambridge books, which I believe said something like, artists should have total freedom, whereas other people think that there needs to be control. Okay, well, that's it's just really poorly written. And is it discuss both views? You can't just take a discuss both views question and turn it into, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Or, I mean, you can, but you'll end up with something confusing like this. So be careful where you pick your questions from, because most of these websites that just, take copywritten real questions and mix them around and throw them back out again, don't do it right. Okay, use Cambridge questions, use questions from trusted sources like My IELTS Classroom by Shelley. The IELTS Buddy is pretty good too. Okay, not this stuff. This is going to confuse you. And also, that's all that was presented. There, every task 2 has in it this next bit. Give reasons for your answers and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Now, these are important words that are in every question. And how would your essay have changed if you had seen the words, include any relevant examples? Because you don't. There are no examples anywhere in this essay. And it's part of every question. You have to include some examples. Okay, so when you analyze the question, a good place to start is to ask yourself in your head the WH questions. Okay? Who are we talking about? Where? When? And what exactly is the topic? Okay? Who? Artists. Artists, and then we also have some people. So are we talking about artists or are we talking about groups of people? I don't know, it's not clear. Where? Once again, it doesn't say where, so you can assume, places in the world where, if this is even a question. Wait, where'd it go? Right, okay. And what are we talking about? Again, identify the issue. The issue is limited freedom, unlimited freedom. And what type of question is this? Once again, here, it's to what extent do you agree or disagree? But it's not clear. Okay, so the statement that you need to agree or disagree with is going to be the second one, because it's presented not as a truth, but as an opinion. Some people think. Okay, so you have to agree that they should have total freedom, or you should disagree that they should have total freedom. And what words define or limit the topic? Okay, certain amount. Total freedom. Okay, here's another difference. Okay, again, we're just focusing on the second statement, but develop their creativity. It's not the same as express any thought or idea. Okay, you can develop your creativity in private. Okay, express carries with it sort of a meaning of to the outside world. And that does affect this question. Okay, what do we got? All right, next. All right, introduction and body paragraph 1. You want to present idea in the band descriptors task response. First thing it tells you to do is present ideas, and clearly. So that's the very basic. You present them clearly. And okay, there's the question again. The answer is, and here's our opening salvo. I should make this bigger. I can do that later. God, I'm 11 minutes in already. Okay, what do the colors mean? I didn't write a key. Orange is task response. It has to do with how you respond to the question that's asked. Okay, green is grammar. Yellow is word choice or lexical resources. And blue is cohesion and coherence, connectivity, things like that. There is a strong belief among some of the people, really, that communicating. Okay, strong belief. Some people think. Where's the strong belief? Right, there's a strong. Where does it say that? That some of the people. Now note, in the question, it expresses it correctly. Some people. Okay? Some of the people is something that is very, very commonly written that is not correct grammar. Some of the people. What people? Who? Who are we talking about? Okay, it's just some people. It can be some of the people in my country, or some of the people nowadays, some of the people some of the people under 20 years old. Those all define the people you're talking about. If the people you're talking about is not defined, then you can't use the definite article. Define definite. Anyway, no the before a plural noun, people, when you're talking about everyone in general. And that's what we're doing here. So it's some people. Strong belief among some people that for artists, should be a comma there, I think. For artists, it is absolutely normal. Okay, collocation. You do this quite a bit. You put modifiers, adverbs or adjectives. Here, this is an adverb, absolutely, in front of or with adjectives or verbs that they don't go together. Absolutely is used with extreme adjectives like, terrible, furious, disgusting. Strong, very, very, very strong adjectives. Normal is the opposite of that. Normal is not an extreme adjective. Normal is not used with adverbs like absolutely. Can't even use very. No, it's very normal. No, it just absolutely does not collocate with normal. It's absolutely normal to communicate any sort of expressions. Okay, through their work. Let's no contractions. Okay, at what? At this what? What is this? At this little closer in the essay. Missing a word there. A little closer, or a little more closely. Be better. Yeah, closer. Let's look at this closer. Closer is an adjective. Look is the verb. So we need closely, an adverb. In the essay below, where 2 points of view will be analyzed. This sentence, the second sentence, is something that you've memorized to put at the end of any essay, or at least it's a form. It's a template that you're just going to put that at the end. Because does the question ask you to look at 2 points of view? No. One thing everyone needs to learn is the different question types. And this is IELTS 101, basic IELTS, okay? You need to learn that in task 2, there are only a certain number of questions. Okay? 5 is usually the main. Some people say 8, but anyway, one of them is a discuss both views essay. The other is opinion essay. To what extent do you agree, or what is your opinion? They're different. This language of 2 points of view is from discuss both views. Not, you should be saying, I agree that artists should have complete freedom. Or you disagree. So you don't answer that. Okay? All right. Yeah. Okay, body paragraph 1. We are living in a modern society. And what is that? I guess that every person should have all rights to express themselves as far as they would like to. I guess. Are you presenting an idea? I guess that is very weak. Don't use that. Badger! Cats. Why do cats chew on cords? I guess that every person, everyone, everybody should, there's that should have all rights to express themselves as far as they would like to. All right, now you've presented an idea. Okay, it's rather weak with I guess. Through their art, society can see different forms of view. Okay, there must be the artists, right? But we don't say artists. You say everyone. The question is about artists, and you say everyone, which is different. Society can see their forms of view, points of view, beliefs. And you see with an F, not a V, and opinions, comma, which might potentially help them. Now, who are they? This is blue for referencing. Okay, to help them change their perception on obvious things. Okay, are the artists changing their perception? No, it must be society. But I have to stop and think about it, which is it slows down the flow of the writing when I have to think about who they are. Then to change perception on obvious things. Obvious. What do you mean by obvious? Strange use of the word obvious. And as a result of what? Okay, I'm thinking of it might potentially, possibly, maybe, we think, I guess, that the obvious things will change. And the result to increase their own creative skills. Now I have no idea who they are. To increase their own creative skills. The artist's creative skills? Or everyone's creative skills? What does that have to do with total freedom? Also, don't start a sentence with also. Also comes in the middle of a sentence. Freedom of expression should not be framed in any way. Badger! You don't frame freedom of expression. You frame an opinion or a question. Or enforced to specific law because of the unusual nature of the artists. What? Where they do not feel themselves comfortable. Huh? Okay, it's not very clear about what your idea is. It's sort of, I think if he means, or she means this, then I can guess that, because your language is not very precise, okay? What do you mean by framed? Freedom of expression should not be framed, okay? Limited, I guess, yeah. Or enforced to specific law. Okay, so laws are enforced. art is not enforced. The unusual nature of the artists, where they do not feel themselves comfortable. So laws should not apply to artists because they feel uncomfortable. What? I don't know. I don't get it. There's no examples, and there's no examples to back up what you're talking about. Okay, body paragraph 2. On another hand. No, on the other hand. And that, again, is a very predictable, canned way of connecting your paragraphs. Despite on aforesaid, that is not a word, don't know what that means. Every form of art must be examined carefully on potential threat against the religious people. Well, that's a big switch, isn't it? First of all, artists should have full freedom. You know, they should do whatever they want, but no, it must be examined. By who? And what happened to artists? We're talking about people before, now we're talking about art. For potential threat against the religion or the religious people? The religious people. Once again, don't use the before people if you're talking about people in general. As some elements might be misinterpreted and, in some cases, may be deeply offensive. That's a lot of commas and ands. Even though, no comma, most arts, drop that of the thing. Most arts are created for adults. Okay, now, adults, in my mind, means that you're going to follow, even though it creates conflict with children. Even though you're going to create for adults, don't use the here. Moral principles should be followed as well. Even though and as well don't go together in a sentence. One is contrast, and the other is addition. Ultimately. Okay, why should moral principles be followed? Can you give us an example? Can you develop this idea and support it? No. All this is doing is saying every form of art must be examined. Why? Okay. Moral principles should be followed. Once again, can we get an example or explanation? No. You're not developing the ideas. You're just expressing opinions. And the ultimate aim has to be encouraging creativity. Says who? Okay. All right, in conclusion, every single artist, no matter in what area, has every right to express and communicate the concepts and ideas in which he or she believes, in which they believe. People, comma, no, that's a comma splice. That should be one sentence. Two sentences. People can decide for themselves whether a work of art is suitable or not. Yeah, government should have nothing to do with it. Artists should be completely free. I agree. Oh, but no, however, little oversight from government should be implemented. Oh, okay. People should be free, except for the government coming in and not letting them be free. Where is your opinion here? Do you agree or disagree? I don't know. You're trying to do both. When it talks about total freedom, absolute freedom, you can't say except for, right? Then you disagree, and that's not total freedom anymore. It's a, what did it say in the question? A relative amount, a certain amount of freedom? Yeah, that's your opinion. So, don't try to take both sides. Don't agree and disagree at the same time because you have no opinion. Lastly, you should, instead of little, it should be a little. Little oversight means, no more shoulds. Stay away from should. Okay, I think that's the end of this feedback. All right, revision checklist. Do I understand the question type and how many parts are needed in my answer? Okay. The question type refers to opinion essay or discuss both views. You try to approach this question as a discuss both views essay, and that's not the correct type of question. And we were murky in the parts. If you wanted to, you could say, here's why some people are, here's an argument for agree, disagree, my opinion. You could do that. Or you could just say, I disagree for this, I disagree for that. You disagree both times. But you're kind of murky, it's mixed. Do my paragraphs start with a topic sentence, which controls the main idea, somewhat? Do I support my ideas with explanations and examples? No, you do not. There is no support of your ideas. Are there run-on sentences or fragments? Yes, you saw that in the last paragraph. You need to use some complex structures in grammar to achieve a high band score in grammar, but you have to be accurate. Just connecting phrases with commas is not a complex sentence. Are there article errors? Yes, everybody has article errors. Articles refer to a and the. Clear referencing? No. I don't know who they are. And correct use of connectors? No. You need to memorize and learn what are the connectors and what they do. On another hand is not a connector. Despite on foresaid is not a connector. These are not, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I just made this revision checklist up. I think I should keep that. It's kind of a good little summary of, at least it is for you. Okay, Johnny. I was just a poor boy. Mama told me, son, don't ever play with adverbs and stay away from run-ons. I'm stuck in band 6 and then keep rolling on. I've gotta pay attention to task response and coherence.